Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video I announced a while ago in the Discord server, and this is the Cops and Criminals event. Now originally I think I called it the Cops and Robbers event, but as it evolved it really just isn't. There's like one robber, so it's more the Cops and Criminals event, but Cops and Robbers I guess is more fancy sounding and I guess more of a recognisable phrase. So I don't know. We'll nickname it the Cops and Robbers event, even though there's not really any robbers in it. So yeah, this is a really cool event idea, I will say. I'm going to pat myself on the back. No, I do think that this, though, is a really decent theme to give us some really cool characters and buildings. Now, I focused particularly on 4 specific acts. However, I think there is more you could do with this. If someone would like to, I guess this is a little challenge for anyone in the Discord server, if someone would like to make another idea video on this kind of theme, but try and use completely different characters and buildings, that would be really interesting to see. But these are the particular ones that I have used. So let's get into it. Starting off with the startup. Stop that man, screams Apu. Wiggum chases after Snake, who has just stolen from Apu. Make Wiggum chase after Snake. Make Apu count his losses. And then Snake escapes from Wiggum. Lou and Eddie suggest that maybe they should hire more than just 3 police officers, but Wiggum tells them that the 3 of them can deal with it. Lou tells Wiggum that Fat Tony is carrying a bod. Oh, this meant to say body. Make Wiggum chase after Tony. Make Fat Tony come up with an excuse. And this will unlock the event. So the 4 currencies are going to be opium pipes. Sorry, it's lagging a little bit. I don't know why. Opium pipes, K9 unit badge, the necklace ball, and coffee mugs. So, moving on. There's a Gills deal. So I like to throw in a Gills deal for every event idea. However, I know this one is very unlikely. Like, I know this would never happen, mainly because both Fox Mulder and Dana Scully are from the X-Files, and they were 2 crossover characters made for one specific episode, but I very much doubt that they'll ever be added. Now, the X-Files is a Fox show, I'm pretty sure, so I guess it's more likely than not than something that isn't owned by the Disney umbrella, but I just don't see them being added in the game for legal issues, so this is unlikely. However, I thought I'd throw it in the Gills deal as the kind of big Gills deal thing. So the FBI Springfield branch with Fox Mulder and Dana Scully for 200 donuts, which I think is fairly fair. Yeah, like I said, probably not going to happen. But if it were to happen, these 2 characters would earn all the event currency throughout all the 4 acts. Moving on. So, in the store, the first act is going to be called 4 Beddings and a Funeral, and in the store is going to be Detective Eliza Simpson and Dr. Bartley with Mouse for 200 donuts, Den of Inequity. So, yeah, it's another kind of Moe building, if you will, like a Moe's Bar renovated building. However, this is obviously in the English kind of Victorian era version of this, of Moe's. So I think it'd be an interesting building to have, definitely, and this entire act will loosely be around the Jack the Ripper kind of murders, so I'd expect them to re-add Jack the Ripper. So Wiggum complains that he is no use as a police officer, and neither are Lou and Eddie, and they get annoyed at that. Lisa suggests researching cops from the past who solve criminal cases swiftly. So you make Wiggum research past cops, make Lou try catch criminals, make Eddie try catch criminals, make Lisa research past cops, make Springfielders evade the police, and this will unlock the ye old English taxi, which is right here. So literally just a little wagon with the guy on it and the horses. I would prefer the little guy to be on it, because it's not like this guy's makes sense to be added as a character or even really an NPC, because you've seen in one scene, but certainly I think it makes sense to add him as just a decoration. So Lisa tells Wiggum about the tale of Detective Eliza and her assistant Dr. Bartley. Bart tries to argue with Lisa that Eliza was the assistant, but Wiggum reads the book and his jaw dropped. Make Lisa fight with Bart, make Bart fight with Lisa, make Wiggum read about Detective Eliza, make Springfielders evade the police, and this will unlock the Emporium of Exotica. So this is another kind of, just like Mouse, this is I guess a repurposed comic book android's dungeon place. It wasn't seen in full, but you can see the sign here, and then you can see the store here, what it looks like. So they could definitely design this as its own unique building. Wiggum tells Bart that Bartley was in fact the assistant, but that is not important, as the book tells him of a store where Eliza and Bartley found a body, and it just so happens to have landed in Springfield. So you'll have to build the Emporium of Exotica, make Wiggum investigate an old crime scene, make Bart admit defeat, and make Springfielders evade the police, and this will unlock Simon Stuhlwitz as an NPC. So just this stool, this walking stool, and he'll be a little NPC around your town. I really miss NPCs, and this one would just be a perfect NPC, and I would be annoyed if they didn't add it. If they were to add the Emporium of Exotica and not add Simon Stuhlwitz, I'd be a little annoyed, to be honest with you. Wiggum is amazed at how consistently Eliza was able to pinpoint the killer, and Wiggum tells Bart and Lisa the story. Make Lisa be on the edge of her seat, make Bart be on the edge of his seat, make Springfielders evade the police, and this will unlock the old London townhouse, which is right here. So just this cool, big, huge townhouse building. Wiggum stops reading, his face drops. Lisa asks what happened next, and Wiggum reveals that the killer was Inspector Wiggum. And Wiggum is more... Sorry, just can't wait for this to fade. Is more lost than ever, as his doppelganger across a country and ages ago, even they are terrible. So you make Wiggum consider handing in his badge, make Springfielders evade the police, and this will unlock Inspector Wiggum. Yeah, by the way, I forgot to say that it was made like... Oh yeah, they're chasing after a bald fat man who looks just like their father. I swear, did I read that out? Oh, whatever. Yeah, so you unlock Inspector Wiggum as the final character. I know there's a few Springfielders. Obviously, there's Comic Book Guy, and there's Mo, and there's Mr. Burns, and I know there's a few of them in this thing, but I think the main important ones are obviously Eliza, Dr. Bartley, and Inspector Wiggum. So I think it makes sense to add those three characters in particular, so you get Inspector Wiggum as a playable character. By the way, these aren't skins. These will be separate characters, as I feel that, although yes, they're from a Treehouse of Horror segment, I think they're unique in their own respect, that they don't make sense to be costumes. Moving on. So we've got Stop or My Dog Will Shoot. So in the store is going to be Strangles with all creatures great and cheap for 150 donuts. So this is a mall building, but they certainly could just redesign it to be a building in the town, and you will get Strangles as a full playable character. Really, really cool. So the mayor makes Lou the new chief of police, and tells Eddie that his first decree as chief will be to make sure they have plenty of police dogs, horses, and snakes. By the way, Wiggum has retired. I probably forgot to put that. Make Lou set up the Animal Academy. Make Eddie help Lou. Make Wiggum enjoy retirement, and make Springfielders pet police dogs. And this will unlock the Springfield Animal Police Academy, as you can see right here. So this building here with the little statue in front of it looks really, really cool. Would definitely be an awesome building to get. So Lou asks Bart if Santa's Little Helper could be one of his officers, and Bart accepts as long as Santa's Little Helper doesn't treat him any differently. Make Lou train Santa's Little Helper, make Eddie get chased by dogs, make Springfielders pet police dogs, and this will unlock Officer Santa's Little Helper. So you get this as a costume for Santa's Little Helper, and if you do not have him, you will unlock Santa's Little Helper. I know my last two, this event and my last event, have both been based around Santa, well, had things based around Santa's Little Helper. What can I say? I think he deserves a few costumes, and this would certainly be a really, really cool costume for him. Moving on, Eddie tells Lou that they don't just have to train dogs, and Lou agrees, telling Eddie that any animal can be a part of the force. Make Lou train aquatic animals, make Eddie help Lou, make Officer Santa's Little Helper, this bracket does not apply, make Officer Santa's Little Helper find criminals, make Springfielders pet police dogs, and this will unlock Officer Dolphin. I saw this in the episode and I was like, oh my god, they got to add that as a decoration, that's hilarious. Just this little dolphin with the police hat and the... and it's perfect because it's in this like tank anyway, so they can just add this as a decoration. It would be really, really cool to get. Bart complains to Lou that Santa's Little Helper is too aggressive like the last time he became an officer, and tells Lou that he will no longer be a police dog. Make Lou spend one last day with Santa's Little Helper, make Eddie think of a solution, and make Springfielders pet police dogs, and this will unlock Lou's apartment. So really, really cool. Now, you don't see this in the full, But we do see this, and I think this one here is Lou's apartment, this door here. So we see him and Santa's little helper walking across. I think this could really definitely be designed. All they've got to do is just give it a little roof. Yeah, and then maybe just make a few more doors across. Yeah, I think this could be designed, and boom, we've got Lou's apartments. That's really, really cool, because I didn't even know before watching this episode we've ever even seen Lou's place of residence before. And it's the one thing I really wish they would add more of is houses. Like, there's plenty of like characters' houses that we haven't got in the game yet, like the Prince house, Mole Man's house, Old Jewish Man's house. There's plenty of houses that they haven't given us yet, which belong to characters that we already have in the game. Lou being one of them. We haven't got his apartments, and they're shown right here. So I definitely think they should design that and add that into this update. And Eddie tells Lou that he has a perfect replacement for Santa's little helper, but Lou just isn't interested after losing Santa's little helper again, and he can't help but question why he's on the force. Make Lou hand in his badge, make Eddie train a police dog, and make Springfielders pet police dogs, and this will unlock Laddie. Now, I've done an event, the Repo event that I did a while ago. This was obviously based around Laddie, but I don't know, I think for this prize track, it makes sense to give us Laddie as the final prize. Really, really cool character, and you know, this entire act is based around police animals, so yeah, makes sense. Moving on. In the store, therefore, the Springfield connection is going to be the Campbell's Chunky Soup Maximum Security Prison with the Mugger for 150 donuts. So this Mugger obviously appears in that Marge episode where Marge becomes big and muscly, and then she obviously beats him up at the end of the episode. Really, really cool looking character. I love the goofy hat and stuff. We've seen him before plenty of times, so I think we've seen him once in that episode and a few times, I think, around Springfield, but we've also seen him quite a few times in the Tap Top quest lines. He's made a few appearances in the actual text quest line, so I think it makes sense to add him. He's never seen at this building. This is just another prison that Sideshow Bob was seen in. But I don't know. I've always wanted this prison to be added. I think it looks cool. I love the kind of Alcatraz feel to it. So obviously you can place this on the water. Really, really cool. Moving on. So Quimby makes Eddie police chief, but he can only keep that role if he hires a female officer. Currently there are none, and Quimby's critics are mad at him for it. Make Eddie set up a police academy, make Lou relax in retirement, make Laddie catch criminals, and make criminals run wild, and this will unlock the Springfield Police Academy. So as you can see it right here, pretty cool building. It does look fairly similar to the Animal Police Academy, if you look at the roof and the kind of the colour of it. But yeah, nevertheless, it is its own unique building. Eddie asks Marge if she wouldn't mind being an officer again, and Marge is hesitant as she doesn't think she could possibly pass the tests again. Make Marge take the written test, make Eddie score Marge's tests, make criminals run wild, and this will unlock the obstacle course. So this will be a decoration, not a building. It will just be a huge kind of obstacle course with this sign obviously here. Pretty cool. It'll be a decoration though. Marge doesn't think she could possibly... Eddie tells Marge that she has scored the highest score ever seen and even beat the leader of the highest score, who was her, the last time she became an officer. Marge still, though, needs to complete the obstacle course. Make Marge complete the obstacle course, make Eddie time Marge, and make criminals run wild, and this will unlock the shooting range. So, again, this will be a decoration too, so it will be like these kind of buildings, but I think they're meant to be flat, because you can see there's like a little wooden post, so it'd be almost like decorations we've had in the past where we've obviously they've been like a free, or like buildings for example we've had in the past that have been like a 5-in-1, so it'd be like this little street with these little houses on little wooden posts. So yeah, now with this sign maybe above saying shooting range. Moving on. Marge doesn't think she could possibly fire a gun as she now is strictly against them. Eddie tells her to at least try, and Marge accepts. Make Marge shoot at the shooting range, make Eddie search for crimes, make Eddie judge Marge's shooting, and make criminals run wild, and this will unlock the Junktown? That's meant to be... Oh no, it is Junkytown. The Junkytown Legal Clinic. Which you can see right here. So a pretty cool building. Obviously Lionel Hutz was seen at this dumpster here, burning stuff, but we'll come on to that. Eddie tells Marge that she has passed all 3 tests with flying colours, but now there is a dodgy lawyer burning illegal files and she needs to catch the said lawyer. Make Marge storm the Junkie Town Legal Clinic, make Eddie supervise, make criminals run wild, and this will unlock Officer Marge. Marge catches old Gil burning photos of his ex-wife, so it's all okay, no crime is committed. So yeah, you will unlock Officer Marge as the final prize. I know it's, obviously it's 2 buildings, 2 decorations, and a skin. There's no character here, that's kind of a bit crappy, but I will say, this would be one of the cooler Marge costumes for sure. I think Marge has... This is lagging. Marge has some particularly bad costumes, but I certainly think that this one would be an exception to that rule. I think this would be a really awesome costume for Marge. Moving on, if it will let me. It is really lagging. I don't know why. Anyway, moving on. The store, Tony the Murderer. So, in store is the mugshot with Officer Fitz and Officer Garcia for 175 donuts. So, I was watching, I think this is from the Springfield Connection, or it might be from Bart the Murderer, I'm not sure. It's from one of those episodes anyway. But man, I've never seen this before. It's a bar for the police. I don't know, there's something about that. It's really cool. I'm really surprised they didn't add it with Eddie and Lou, considering we got them with a SWAT van. You would have thought they would have given us this, but whatever. So yeah, the mugshot with Officer Fitz and Officer Garcia. These 2 characters are literally seen in one scene and don't do anything, so obviously Tapped Out would have to build upon them. I considered when I first made this event of adding a bunch of different of these kind of police officers that we've seen before. There are a few more that, you know, just got name dropped, but they're not particularly big characters or anything. But I decided, nah, I'll throw in these 2, and there'll be a 2-in-1 character, but I don't think it makes sense to give us all these kind of no-named police officers, so we'll get the mugshot, which is a really, really cool building, and we'll get these 2 as a 2-in-1 character, Officer Fitz and Officer Garcia. Moving on, so Mayor asks how Marge is doing, and Eddie tells him that she is the best cop he has ever seen. Quimby is happy with this and tells Eddie he's fired. Make Eddie hand in his badge, make Quimby appoint Marge, make Officer Marge be sworn in as chief, make Spring criminals assist the mafia, and this will unlock the La Coffee Nostra, which is a coffee shop where Johnny Type Lips was seen inside, so it makes sense. It's like a mafia place, I guess. Fat Tony tells his goons that now the police are reduced, they can take and exploit more businesses. Make Fat Tony gather his mafia, make Officer Marge track down crime, make criminals assist the mafia, and this will unlock the Velvet Mafia Barge as a decoration. Moving on, Marge arrests Louie and Legs for forcing Apu into paying protection money, and Fat Tony is annoyed. Make Tony recruit more mafia members, make Officer Marge go after the mafia, make Legs and Louie, if owned, serve time, and make criminals assist the mafia, and this will unlock Jimmy the Snitch. Again, a 1-episode character, but I don't know, there's something about him, he was kind of cool. Tony instructs Jimmy to spy on Marge, which he agrees to do, but as soon as he kind of goes there, he just tells Marge everything about Fat Tony's plan and how he was sent as a mole. So you make Jimmy the Snitch, make Officer Marge come up with a plan, make Fat Tony set up a new business, and make criminals assist the mafia, and this will unlock Fat Tony's Gym. I think this is just Fit Tony's Gym anyway. And then Marge tells Bart to go and infiltrate Tony's operation by making cocktails again. Bart does so and catches Fat Tony trying to bribe the mayor into firing Marge. So you make Bart submit the evidence, make Marge arrest Fat Tony, make criminals assist the mafia, and this will unlock Joey. And Joey is now the only mafia man left to run the mafia, as Johnny Type Lips is too secretive. So yeah, Joey is the final character. Pretty cool character to get. He is of course the barman for the mafia. He is mainly seen as the barman for the mafia, although he was once seen on the side of Tony's rival mafia, so I think they could do something interesting there with his questline. Maybe he betrays Tony or something. Anyway, moving on to the tasks. Oh, sorry, before we get to the tasks, the epilogue. So Marge tells Quimby that she has had enough of being a police officer and she's ready to retire, so you make Marge hand in her badge. I know, I like how I just made every single officer hand in their badge. And then you make Quimby beg Marge to stay. Marge quits and Quimby begs Wiggum, Lou and Eddie to come back. They agree, and as they have missed being officers, so you make Quimby rehire police officers and make police officers put on their badges ×3. So moving on to tasks. So First of all, we got Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. I want to say that these tasks are from the Discord user Uta, or Edible Pigs as he's also known. Shout out to him. Couldn't be bothered making up my own tasks, so I thought I'd show off some of his. So, take out badge for animation for obviously Mulder. Retrace footsteps, most haven't. Break into a brown house, the brown house. Ask unanswerable questions as an animation. Investigate leads, the FBI Springfield branch. And work in the basement, the FBI Springfield branch. And then for Dana Scully, test reflexes in the Springfield branch. Set up a lie detector, that'll be an animation. Set up unnecessary tests, the branch again. Dine at Springfield Sardies for the Springfield... Oh, I don't know if this was added. Ignore that task. Pull out a gun, animation, and investigate leads on reports of whales, and that'll be at Moe's. So yeah, credit from Uta for those ones. And then anyway, back to my tasks. So for Dr. Bartley, we have threaten criminals for 60 minutes. This will be this thing here. Him just punching his fist as an animation. Search Mouse for 4 hours. Storm the London townhouse for 6 hours. Interview Emporium of Exotica clerk for 8 hours. Obviously there. Smoke for 12 hours as an animation. Now, we see Ralph do this in the episode, but I honestly wouldn't want them to add this as a separate character, or like even as a costume. So instead, what I think they should do is have Bart sitting on this little beanbag smoking the opium pipe. I know it's a little inappropriate, but I mean the episode showed a kid smoking opium, so why not? Anyway, and then hitch a ride out of London. That will be on the ye old English taxi. And then we have Eliza, Detective Eliza. Present evidence for 60 minutes. That'll be this, her holding this big knife, bloody knife. Search Miles for 4 hours. Storm the London townhouse for 6 hours. Interview Emporium of Exotica clerk for 8 hours. Obviously, same kind of thing. Investigate a crime scene for 12 hours. This will be an animation with her, this magnifying glass over her eye and kind of making her eye bigger. And that'll be it. And then finally, file a report for 24 hours. This will be at the Scotland Yard building that we obviously already have in the game. So if you own it, you will unlock that task. Moving on, Inspector Wiggum, eat eel pie for 60 minutes. Literally what he's doing here. Smoke at Miles for 4 hours. Buy exotic items for 8 hours, obviously the Emporium. Find another victim for 12 hours, animation. This will be him, maybe in a hood or something, kind of stalking around, just looking. And then cover up bodies for 24 hours, that will be at the Scotland Yard. And then we got Strangles, be a fire hose for 60 minutes, animation. So this will spawn like a little fire hose container thing, and then it will open and he'll just be inside, wrapped around like a fire hose, like he does in the episode. Interview criminals for 4 hours, this will be at the police station. Be resold for 6 hours, that will be at All Creatures Great and Cheap. Strangle inmates for 8 hours, that will be in the prison. Strangle Homer for 12 hours, that will be, as you can see right here. And then train as a police snake for 24 hours, that will be at the Animal Academy. Moving on, we've got Laddie, help solve crimes for 60 minutes. That will be the police station. Walk with Bart for 4 hours, that will be an animation. Sniff dogs' butts for 6 hours, that will be anywhere really. I guess that could be at the park, like the Springfield Park sign. Water flowers for 8 hours, and that will be an animation. That will be Laddie just on any little bush with a little gardening hose in her mouth, in his mouth, watering plants. Dig hole for 12 hours animation. That'll be him digging a hole, and bark at inmates for 24 hours, obviously over at the prison. And then for the Officer Santa's Little Helper, bite Bart for 60 minutes. That'll be an animation, obviously. Grab a refreshment for 4 hours. That will be at the mug shop. Train for promotion for 8 hours. That will be at the Springfield Animal Academy. Growl at criminals for 12 hours. That will be him growling at possibly Snake, or just growling at the air, really. And then stay with Lou for 24 hours, over at Lou's apartments. For the mugger, we've got Mug Marge for 60 minutes, animation. That'll be him, mugging Marge. Rob the Quickie Mart for 4 hours. Give necklace to girlfriend for 6 hours. This could be at the hotel, like some sort of hotel. Look for a new hat for 8 hours. This could be at the Quickie Mart or anywhere, really. Wait for next victim for 12 hours. That'll be an animation of him kind of waiting. And then serve time for 24 hours, animation. Also, Marge's Muscular Marge, the Muscular Marge costume, that will, if you own him, include him in the little animation. Then for Marge, we have Arrest Homer for 60 minutes as an animation. train at the obstacle course for 4 hours, retrain at the academy for 6 hours, raid the legal clinic for 8 hours, train in shooting for 12 hours animation. This will be an animation at the shooting academy with her firing a gun and stuff, and then write up a police report for 24 hours over at the police station. And then we have Officer Fitz and Garcia. Shoot at criminals for 60 minutes animation. Both of these guys just firing their guns. Grab a drink for 4 hours. That'll be at the mug shop. Retrain shooting retrain. So that's meant to be retrain. Retrain shooting techniques for 6 hours. That'll be at the shooting range. File a police report for 8 hours over at the police station. Stakeout for 12 hours animation. It'll be those two literally sitting on a chair, just kind of folding their hands and looking and just being quite fidgety. And then sleep in for 24 hours. That will be at the police station. Then we got Jimmy the Snitch. Get caught for 60 minutes animation. So this will be him in the back of the mafia car that we already have in the game. He will just be seen in the boot. Like the boot will rise. Actually no, because it's not like that, is it? Ah, that's actually true. Actually, tell you what. Get caught. He'll just be down on the ground, tied up. Gather mafia intel for 4 hours. That will be at the legitimate businessman's club. Set up his wire for 8 hours. That will be probably the same place. Blab to Chief Wiggum for 12 hours. That will be him just talking to Chief Wiggum as a little animation. And then be kidnapped for 24 hours. That will be him inside of the mafia car. And then finally we got Joey. Whip up a cocktail for 60 minutes. That'll be an animation. Him with a little martini cup shaker thing, shaking around. Serve last drinks to death row inmates for 4 hours. Obviously be at the prison. Grab a coffee for 8 hours. That will be at the La Coffee Nostra. Betray Fat Tony for 12 hours animation. I think this could be interesting. Like a little animation with him maybe pointing a gun behind Tony, and Tony kind of like putting his hands up in surrender. And then serve time for 24 hours, obviously over at the prison. So that is my Cops and Criminals event idea. I hope you liked it. I think there is definitely some really cool things in here. I really love this act. This is my favourite act that I designed with the strangles and this. This actually started as a mini event because I really wanted to make another Santa's Little Helper mini event after I made the old yellow one, and yeah, it just evolved into being a whole police event, basically police and criminals event. So anyway, tell me your thoughts on this event idea. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was meh? Yeah, and like I said before, if anyone could create, I guess, another Cops and Criminals event based around this theme but with different items, that could be really interesting to see. Maybe like it's a little challenge for anyone who does it. Maybe I'll show it off. I might make a separate video where I'll show it off. We'll have to see, obviously scheduling and all that, but I might make a separate video showing it off. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Goodbye.